given how freely available all of these sources of clean energy are, how would you explain the increasing prices, especially of electrical energy that we're experiencing right now?
The initial investment of, say, in a solar PV project, it's very high. And also there is the aspect of independent power producers, which use thermal. Thermal is they use diesel to produce power to sell to the grid, so that when, for example, solar is available during the day, during the night there's no solar, so we need an alternative source of energy, which, apart from geothermal, it is something like those independent power producers. So that contributes to the high cost of electricity.
Hello and welcome to the Millionaire Mind. My name is Turife. Now joining me today we have Susan Munene, who's going to be talking to us about sustainable renewable energy, or rather just renewable energy in general. So for those of us who do not know you, kindly introduce yourself and what you do and what you specialize in.
Okay, thank you. My name is Susan Munene Mbada. I'm the firstborn in our family. I come from Makueni and Machakos counties. My background is in civil and structural engineering. I completed my bachelor's degree from my university in 2009. I also have a master's degree from Erasmus University in the Netherlands in urban infrastructure. And I'm also a fellow of Yali Mandela Washington Fellowship. It's a US government program to train potential young African leaders on leadership, networking, entrepreneurship and governance. I also have certifications in renewable energy and business and entrepreneurship. I have about 12 years of work experience. My first 5 years I spent working on in-roads projects. The first project was on Mombasa Road, when Mombasa Road was under construction between JKIA and Makutano Junction. Yes, from there I worked on several other roads projects, but at some point I developed a passion for sustainable energy, sustainability and renewable energy. So that informed my shift from civil engineering to renewable energy. So I founded Sunspot Energy Company Limited. It's I co-founded it with 2 other directors. So we do solar projects. What we do is we do consultancy, that is design, feasibility studies, and we also do implementation of solar PV projects. Okay,
that is a very impressive, CV to start with. And just being a woman who's accomplished all of this, how does it feel for you? Does it feel like pressure from maybe like people back at home, or does it feel like you're paving the way for those, who come after you? How does it feel to be so accomplished? And you're so young. You do look young. I want to see your age.
Yeah, okay, I'm not that young, but I feel and I want to be a role model, especially for young girls. We'd like to have more girls in engineering, in STEM. So actually in my work I make sure that for any project I have, we have a quarter of our technicians and engineers have to be ladies. So yes.
Awesome. So now let's talk about renewable energy. What exactly do you mean by that? Because when you talk about renewable energy, the first thing we think about is the sun or geothermal energy. But what else do we overlook when we talk about renewable energy?
Okay, I'll start by saying that 85% of energy that we use in Kenya is renewable. The electrical energy that is generated in Kenya. So when we talk about renewable energy, we mean energy which replenishes itself even when it is being used. For example, sources of renewable energy are the sun, which gives us solar energy. We have wind energy. We have several wind farms in Kenya. We have hydroelectric energy. We have also 7 Masinga Dam, Gitaru, Kindaruma, all those are sources of renewable energy. And of course the geothermal energy. We also have biofuels, but they are not much developed in Kenya. But it is also a source of renewable energy.
So those you would brand as, or rather you would, put in the category of clean energy. What about the opposite of that? We have, is it petroleum or?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Those
And
are, yeah.
given how freely available all of these sources of clean energy are, how would you explain the increasing prices, especially of electrical energy that we're experiencing right now? And it's free, you know, the sun is free, the water is free, the wind is free. I understand turning all these free things and the process that requires a bit of money.
Yes.
But why is it becoming increasingly expensive, yet all of these sources of energy are, you know, free for all?
Okay, I may not speak too much on that because KPLC understands why they do that.
Yeah.
But as you have said, the initial investment of, say, in a solar PV project, it's very high. And also, there is the aspect of independent power producers, which use thermal. Thermal is, they use diesel to produce power to sell to the grid, so that when, for example, solar is available during the day, during the night there's no solar, so we need an alternative source of energy, which, apart from geothermal, it is something like those independent power producers. So that contributes to the high cost of electricity. But still, in my opinion, I don't feel that it is justified that we have one of the highest cost of electricity in Africa. Yeah, it is not good for economic development.
And it's not justifiable at the end of the day.
It's not justifiable. Yeah.
So now let's come back to what you do and your company. You say you started with 2 other directors.
Yes.
What exactly do you do?
We are a solar company, so we do design, we do installation, we do operation and maintenance of solar PV plants. Yes. And
what type of products do you now install? Because most of us just know of, you can only do the solar for, I think, the shower. It can't be, you know, independent of, you know, KPLC, or rather the monopoly. So what type of products do you offer and sell?
Okay, I'll start by saying that solar is energy like any other source of energy. Of course, the disadvantage is that it's only available during the day.
True.
So the clients we have, we power homes, we power schools, we power hospitals, factories, telecommunication companies. So that shows that solar can do anything. However, we have a different solar system configurations. For example, a place like this, or for example, a factory, the power consumption is very high. So you can only do a solar system which works only during the day. That kind of system is called grid-tied solar PV system. But for homes, you will have a system which runs during the day, and also you will have batteries. But for big solar plants, you cannot have batteries because the cost of batteries is very high.
True.
Yes. So for a grid-tied system, you will only need solar panels. We have solar panels ranging in size from 10 kilowatts to 10 watts to 600 watts. A 600 watts solar panel is like 2 square meters. Yes. So you will have solar panels, you will have inverters, you will have a monitoring unit, because you have to monitor how is my system producing, and if is my system down. So it is just solar panels, inverters, and several other accessories, lightning protection and things like those.
Okay.
But for a house, you will need solar panels and you will need batteries, so that you can be able to store energy for use at night. Yes.
That sounds like a lot of things going on. So how do you make it cost effective? Because I think the challenge mostly is usually the cost, especially of installation and further costs down the line. So now how are you able to convince a client that you're going to make an investment into acquiring, you know, solar energy, if anything, just to cut down on the consumption or what you're paying for energy? So now how do you have that cost-effective conversation with a potential client?
Okay, there are 3 ways in which you can finance a solar PV project. The first one is by cash, the second one is by a bank loan, the other one is there are financial institutions which finance solar projects. If a client is paying cash, because you will go to some premises and you'll find that someone is paying bills of hundreds of millions. if you invest in a solar PV system which will cut 40% of your electricity bills, the return on investment is usually 3.5 to 4 years. And then after that, you're going to be enjoying free electricity.
Yeah.
So it's really, really worth it cost-wise. For homes, you'll find that in some places the power is very unstable. So if you have things in your fridge, they
perish.
go bad.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you have a call you need to make, you can't do it. So for homes, the cost effectiveness, it might not be there, but the convenience. So when you're buying solar system for a home, you're buying convenience.
Yeah.
Other places you find that there's no electricity at all, like in northern Kenya. So you find that those people are basically in darkness in so many ways, in terms of lighting, facilities, information.
Okay.
So you find that if someone has money in those areas, it is beneficial for them to invest in solar.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. So allow me to put you on the spot for a hot minute and ask you if you could give us an example of an actual cost for powering a house. Yes, it's for convenience because you can't solely rely on solar energy to run a house. What would be an approximation of cost?
I would not want to give an upfront approximation because we have different kinds of houses, and houses have different kinds of components inside. You will find that someone in a small house who does not have a lot of components might need a system which will cost 100,000. Someone else, we've installed systems which go for 4 to 5 million for a house. So it really ranges depending on what you have in the house and how you use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think a few years back we had seen a bit of a controversy, especially with solar energy companies, where they were confiscating or trying to bring back the equipment they had installed, especially in rural areas, because of clients who are unable to pay.
Yes.
So how are you able to navigate such situations? Because sometimes somebody, initially, they had the money, they had the capability to do all of that, but it gets to a point where it feels like it's a car loan. You know, it's a car on loan.
Yes.
You really don't own it. You're just taking it for a ride until you complete the payment.
Yes.
So now, how do you, recover from such scenarios, especially in the rural areas?
Yes, I'd say that we've not worked so much. Mostly those systems are the small solar home systems. They are portable. We call them, they are PICO solar systems. We once had a pilot project on the same, and after that we dropped that idea because you'll find that people need the system. They want the system, but mostly they cannot pay.
True.
Yeah, so what we were doing, we were giving people like 3 months grace period because that project had been financed by donor. But if someone does not pay, we would switch off the system from where we are. It's like you only pay when you use. But I'll not say, we are not really so much in that market, so I don't speak so much about it.
Okay. Apart from, let's say, the cost side of the business, what other challenges do you feel you face, especially in Kenya? And do you feel like the government is providing a sustainable environment for your businesses to thrive, or are you being quashed by the fact that there's a monopoly that needs to stay relevant?
There are definitely a lot of challenges. I would say that if the government had a policy whereby startups or companies, at least within the first 3 years, before they break even, let there not be so many requirements of KRA. You know, KRA is always on your back. We have these regulatory authorities. They want you to certify yourself with them, and all that costs money. So you find that staying in business, I'd say that on our side, we really struggled before we stabilized. So the government can really support startups. We also would benefit from investment, kind of angel investment, whereby they're investing in you without expecting return to enable you to grow and compete, because we have a lot of foreign companies in this market right now for solar. They have resources, they have the technology. So competing with them becomes a bit of a challenge.
True.
But then that is capitalism. There's nothing we can do much about it.
Coming back to our main conversation, what would a person require for them to start, you know, to get into, to be a consumer for sustainable energy, or to deviate from what is offered right now? What would I require to do?
You would, for example, approach us, and then we will do a site survey. Assuming that it's a home or a school or a factory, we have two ways in which we do site survey. We have the manual one, where we come and fill a form of what do you have in your house, what is the power rating, how long do you consume it, and then we also look at your power bills. With that information, we're able to size a system for you. Or if it's a bigger institution like a factory or a school, we have a device called a power logger, which we fix at your consumer unit, and monitor the consumption over a duration of 7 days. Yeah, so with that data, we're able to simulate and size the correct system for you, and then cost it.
Okay. And do you think that's it's an easy process that anybody could do? They could just buy equipment and install on their own, or do you feel like they need you to actually do that? And what are the qualifications to do the work that you do?
Yeah, okay. Of course, there are these DUI videos online for simple projects someone can do. But why would someone risk like that when there are professionals who will take maybe 1% of the total project cost? So it's advisable to just engage professionals who are well qualified in that kind of work. Yeah, and on the kind of qualifications which are needed, the main kind of qualification is electrical engineering. But you find that some solar projects are very complicated. If we are to install solar system on this roof, we have to do a structural analysis. Is the structure adequate to support the solar system? So we'll need a civil structural engineer, we'll need mechanical engineers, we need environmental engineers. Yes, so it cuts across several disciplines. Okay,
and apart from, you know, cost effectiveness, what would you say are the advantages of installing, you know, solar for solar installations?
Yeah, of course, the first biggest benefit is savings on the electricity bills and convenience, but there's also the aspect of reducing your carbon footprint. Yeah, so if you use energy, okay, in Kenya maybe it might not have so much of an impact because most of our energy is from renewable energy sources. But in other countries, or for people who use diesel generators, if you use solar, you've reduced on the carbon emission. Yes. But for this country, for example, one of the biggest sources of pollution is vehicles. We need to see how we can shift from diesel-powered vehicles to electric vehicles, which are powered by solar.
Yeah. Okay. And do you see that happening, especially, you know, in Africa in general? Because if I say Kenya, it's going to be a long shot. But do you see that as, do you see sustainability, especially when it comes to energy sources, as a thing that could be, you know, implemented more in Africa if we're not doing it anyway?
Yeah, it is. I believe that it's an idea whose time has come, because when you see some countries, like for example some countries in Europe, by 2030 they will have banned fossil fuel powered vehicles, so it will only be electric vehicles. Same to Asia. So if we are importing vehicles from those countries which are electric, then definitely we'll have to shift to electric. And then we have several companies in Kenya right now who are manufacturing especially electric motorcycles now. So it is something which has started, and I believe it's going to grow.
Yeah. And speaking about where we see ourselves in the future, what is the durability for the equipment, for the solar installation when you put it in? Is it lifelong? Is it forever? Or is there a certain, you know, period where it is usable, and then after that you have to get an upgrade?
It's each of the component has its lifespan. For example, the solar panels, the one we mount on the roof, they have 25 to 40 year lifetime. So even when you look at the warranty, solar panels have a 25-year warranty on production and 12-year warranty on structural damages. So you can have it on the roof for 25 to 40 years. And then for the solar panels, for the inverters, we have the inverter is the one which converts solar from DC to AC, so that it's now usable. We have, depending on the kind of product, we have warranties and lifetime of 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, depending on the type of inverter that you pick.
Yeah.
The same with batteries. We have the lead acid batteries. They have a lifetime of 2 years to 5 years. We have the new technology, lithium battery technology. They last from 7 years to 15 years. Okay, we have not yet tested that, but that is what they say it will do. Yeah.
Yeah, and given in our country we are, I'd say, fortunate enough that you know, electricity coverage is, you know, more than 50%.
Yes.
It's readily available to anyone who would want it.
Yeah.
So now, how do you set yourself apart in the market and say, this is who we are, we can help you, you know, cut down on the amount you use for electricity, or we can actually give you electricity? How do you set yourself aside from the competition?
Okay, I would say that our most important approach is we offer technical services to the bigger solar companies, because the market is very competitive. So we've really established ourselves. Technically, we are a reference point, we are a reference company. For the clients, right now, you will find that many clients will want to be financed, such that we install solar on your roof, and then we only charge you for what we have generated. Yeah. So you don't have to incur the upfront cost. Yes. Okay.
And what would you say you've provided as a solution? Because obviously when you started your business, when you started your company, there had to have been a gap in the market that you saw and said, you know what, I have a solution for this. So in the energy industry, what would you say has been your solution or your contribution? It's a difficult question.
Yeah, because I'd say that our contribution is the same as any other solar company. But I repeat that our contribution is really technical. Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say is, I think, the best target audience for you right now? Who do you really want as a client, or who do you really hone in as a client for you?
Anyone who pays electricity bill is our client. We are really looking at and excited about, especially working in the dairy sector. We have done, especially in these arid and semi-arid areas where they don't have access to electricity. So some of the projects we've done include setting up mini dairies, whereby we power them with solar. So pastoralists in these areas are able to cool their milk, pasteurize, and then sell it. So it is beneficial for them. And also setting up solar cold rooms. For example, in Lake Turkana, we have such a project. So fishermen are able to store their fish there, and it's a form of value addition and increasing the cost and income generation for those kinds of people. We also solarize schools. We have solarized several schools. We have solarized hospitals, factories. Actually, anybody, petrol stations. We just work with anybody. Our target is anyone who pays electricity or anyone who does not have access to electricity.
Awesome.
Yes.
And you had mentioned that you are an engineer. You have a very impressive educational background. But, you know, this is a show that focuses on women in business.
Yes.
So as a female engineer, do you feel like it has been a challenge, especially in a male-dominated industry, or do you feel like there's a shift, there's a change that is coming, and more women actually involved in science and mathematical and technical, you know, backgrounds?
Yes. I'd say that at the beginning it was difficult, and we don't have many ladies who have been in engineering. Currently, only 10% of engineers are ladies in Kenya. I remember when we were in campus, we were only 7 ladies in my class out of 60. It was 60 something, so it was only 7 out of 60, around 62. So yeah, it has been a bit challenging to navigate, but with passion, with drive, with self-belief, it's really doable. And the good thing about nowadays is we have access to information and technology. So young girls are able to access role models, they are able to get motivated to see interesting things which are happening in STEM. So they are better able to participate in a STEM. And also I'm seeing a lot of organizations having programs, mentorship programs for STEM.
Yeah.
So I think the future looks bright.
Yeah.
We expect to have more women in engineering in future.
And what would you say is the future for sustainable energy, especially in Kenya? Like in 5 years, do you see a change, or do you see like Margaret Wangari Maathai was just her efforts were in vain because of, you know, the practices that are being practiced right now?
Yeah. I think with time more people are going to shift towards renewable energy, and especially in Kenya where the cost of electricity is just so high. So you'll find that currently a lot of people just want to generate their own energy, especially businesses. And there's also the global shift towards renewable energy. There's a lot of funding for that. So I see positivity. And when you look at GDC, the Geothermal Development Authority, they are still in the process of developing more renewable energy sources. So it's something which has potential, and it's something which will continue. Yeah, we'll continue shifting towards renewable energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, thank you very much for coming. I do apologize for putting you on the spot earlier on, but I feel like these are some of the questions that we need to ask and conversations that we need to have. And as we are winding up, what would you say achievements as a woman in the renewable sector have been?
Okay, I'd say that the fact that I'm an entrepreneur in the renewable energy space, in engineering space, is an achievement in itself.
Yeah.
When you look at NCA records, only 15% of contractors are women. Yes, and among those 15%. So I'd say that one is part of the achievements I've had. Last year I was also awarded the African Queen of Energy Awards.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, in the technical category.
Humble brag.
Yeah, but yes, it was...
it's an achievement.
It's an achievement, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm sorry.
When I look at where we've come from, we started whereby we were only the three of us. You are the CEO, you are the designer, you are the cleaner. Up to the point whereby now we can have, sometimes on bigger projects, we have up to 50, 100 people at once. So it is really a lot for me, and I'm grateful for where we come from.
And also very proud of you, because that's a very impressive background. And for somebody who's watching you right now, what would you tell them, and what also do you think is the future for women in engineering sector in Kenya?
I'd say that for girls out there, you need to go for what you want. You need to believe that you can do hard things. It is not to say that engineering, mathematics, technology is hard. It is not hard. So challenge yourself, believe in yourself, and have passion, and so that you can be counted. Yes. And for consumers, for homeowners, for business people, I'd advise that it is good to shift to renewable energy anyway, because of the cost implication, the environmental implications. Yeah, so.
Okay, awesome. And where can people, find you, especially on social? Are you on social media?
Yes.
And maybe a contact number or a physical location where they can find you?
Yes, our offices are on Bunyala Road. The location is on our website, www.sunsport.co.ke. So, yes, there's a contact there. Whoever wants to contact us, they can call us on the numbers which are listed on the website.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm calling you out for not having social media, but it is okay.
Myself.
For the company, for even you too, for anyone who wants to be in contact with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are on social media.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Susan,
Yes.
for having this conversation with me. And I hope you, the audience, have actually learned something from this conversation. As always, if you want to chip in and tell us your thoughts about it, the number is 0770-729-366, and on social media at Ibru TV KE on Facebook and Ibru TV Kenya on Instagram and Twitter. My name is Turife, and until next week.